That's the word people used almost instinctively the moment Kim Jisoo from BLACKPINK appeared in Tokyo. Not because she walked a runway, not because she announced a new project, but because of what she quietly revealed in public, without speeches, without headlines, without saying a word. At first glance, it looked like another luxury appearance. But if you slow down and really watch what happened at Dior Tokyo, something far more calculated begins to surface. This wasn't just a celebrity showing up. This was brand power being demonstrated in real time. Here's the part that most people missed. Dior didn't treat this like a normal pop-up event. The Dior Addict sweet shop in Tokyo wasn't designed as a basic product launch. It was built like an immersive experience, almost theatrical. Colors, scent, lighting, textures, everything was engineered to activate emotion first, logic second. That alone tells you this wasn't about selling lip oil on the spot. It was about reinforcing brand value at a global scale, especially in Asia's most image-sensitive market. Then Jisoo arrived. No dramatic entrance. No over-the-top gestures. Just presence. And that's where the shift happened. When Jisoo stepped into that space, the room recalibrated. Cameras followed instinctively. Fans stopped scrolling and started staring. And Dior, a house that already dominates luxury, suddenly felt untouchable. This is where mystery creeps in. What exactly did Jisoo show in public that triggered this reaction? It wasn't a product reveal. It wasn't a statement outfit meant to shock. What she showed was something rarer in modern celebrity culture: controlled intimacy. Jisoo didn't perform for the crowd. She didn't overplay her role. Instead, she allowed the public to witness her comfortably occupying Dior's world as if it naturally belonged to her. That subtlety is marketing gold. Here's why that matters from a business perspective. Luxury brands don't just sell products. They sell legitimacy. They sell aspiration. And aspiration only works when the ambassador doesn't look like they're trying. Jisoo's presence at Dior Tokyo communicated alignment, not endorsement. That difference is massive in terms of long-term revenue, brand trust, and investment value. At the Dior Addict sweet shop, Jisoo was photographed interacting with the space itself, touching products casually, smiling without forcing engagement, sharing moments later through her own social media. Not as an ad, but as a personal experience. That's the trigger moment. Dior didn't need to tell the audience this was important. Jisoo BLACKPINK showed it by treating the brand as part of her lifestyle, not a transaction. From a marketing standpoint, this is textbook high-level brand strategy. Dior wasn't chasing virality. They were building memory. When consumers associate a product line like Dior Addict with warmth, playfulness, and authenticity, delivered through someone with Jisoo's credibility, the conversion doesn't happen immediately. It compounds over time. That's how luxury maintains premium pricing without resistance. Midway through this event, something interesting happened online. Clips started circulating. Not from Dior's official channels first, but from fans. Organic distribution. No forced messaging. That's when the narrative escaped the building and entered the global feed. This is where content layering comes into play. On the surface, people were talking about visuals, outfits, and beauty. Underneath, Dior was quietly reinforcing its dominance in the beauty segment, especially among younger consumers with increasing purchasing power. And let's talk numbers without throwing numbers. Beauty is one of the highest margin segments in luxury. Products like lip oils and fragrances drive recurring revenue far more consistently than couture ever could. When Jisoo anchors Dior Addict emotionally, she's not just enhancing image, she's stabilizing future cash flow. That's not hype. That's business reality. Now zoom out. Why Tokyo? Why now? Asia isn't just a market, it's a growth engine. Tokyo, in particular, represents taste leadership. If something lands in Tokyo, it doesn't feel copied, it feels approved. Dior understands this. Placing Jisoo in that environment wasn't random. It was a signal to investors, competitors, and consumers that Dior's cultural relevance isn't slowing down. It's evolving. This is where the climax of the facts hits. Jisoo didn't need to announce a campaign for Dior Addict at that moment. Her appearance itself functioned as the campaign. She showed that Dior Addict isn't just a product line, It's a mood, a lifestyle, a soft power tool. And she did it publicly, without framing it as promotion. That's why it landed so hard. Emotionally, this moment resonated because it felt real. Fans didn't feel sold to. They felt included. They weren't watching a brand talk at them. They were watching someone they trust exist comfortably inside a luxury universe. That emotional connection is what keeps audiences watching longer, engaging deeper, and coming back. It's also what raises long-term monetization potential for content creators who understand how to tell these stories. There's a lesson here beyond fashion. Whether you're building a personal brand, a business, or investing in long-term growth, visibility alone isn't enough. Alignment is everything. Jisoo didn't chase attention at Dior Tokyo. She let attention find her. That's the difference between short-term buzz and sustainable influence. As this story winds down, what lingers isn't a single photo or clip. It's the feeling that something important happened quietly. Dior reinforced its dominance. Jisoo reinforced her position not just as a celebrity, but as a cultural asset. And the audience, whether they realized it or not, witnessed a masterclass in modern branding. And that's where the story actually gets more interesting, not less. Because moments like this don't end when the lights turn off or when the last Instagram post fades from the algorithm. They ripple. Quietly. Strategically. Dior didn't need a press release declaring success. The proof was already embedded in perception. Conversations shifted. Commentary changed tone. Suddenly, Dior Addict wasn't just another beauty line competing for attention. It felt elevated, emotionally anchored, and culturally current. That's not an accident. That's long-game thinking. What most people don't realize is that luxury branding today is less about visibility and more about permission. Permission to be desired without explanation. Permission to exist above trends instead of chasing them. By positioning Kim Jisoo the way they did in Tokyo, Dior essentially gave the market permission to see her not as a temporary ambassador, but as part of the brand's living identity. That kind of integration increases brand trust. And trust is what drives premium pricing, loyalty, and long-term revenue stability. From Jisoo's side, this moment subtly expanded her personal brand as well. She didn't just appear as an idol attending a sponsored event. She appeared as someone fluent in the language of global luxury. Comfortable, unrushed, in control. That perception matters far beyond fashion. It affects how future collaborations are negotiated, how creative control is allocated, and how investment value around her name grows over time. In today's creator economy, cultural assets outperform viral moments every single time. There's also a deeper layer here about timing. This appearance landed at a point where audiences are increasingly skeptical of overt advertising. People scroll past obvious promotions without thinking twice. What they stop for are moments that feel authentic, even if they're highly curated. Dior understood this shift. Instead of telling the audience what to think, they let the audience observe and conclude on their own. That's advanced marketing psychology at work. And notice something else. There was no controversy, no shock tactics, no forced narratives. Yet the engagement was massive. That's important. It shows that high-impact visibility doesn't require chaos. It requires clarity. When a brand and a figure like Jisoo are aligned at the values level, the message transmits cleanly. No noise needed. For viewers who are building their own businesses, brands, or creative paths, this moment offers a powerful lesson. Growth doesn't always come from louder moves. Sometimes it comes from better positioning. Being in the right room with the right partners at the right time and knowing you belong there. That's not luck. That's strategy. As the fashion world moves forward, this Tokyo moment will likely be referenced quietly in boardrooms and strategy decks, not just fan edits. Because it represents a model that works. Emotional branding, cultural credibility, and long-term vision converging in a single appearance. Dior didn't just sell beauty. They reinforced belief. And belief is the most valuable currency any brand can hold. So when people look back and ask why this moment mattered, the answer won't be found in one image or one clip. It will be found in how naturally it all made sense, how effortless it felt, and how, without shouting, it reshaped perception. That's the kind of move that doesn't trend for a day. It compounds. If you're still watching, here's the premium takeaway. The most powerful moves in business, branding, and life rarely announce themselves loudly. They show themselves subtly in public at the right moment. That's exactly what happened in Tokyo. And if this kind of insight into Jisoo BLACKPINK resonates with you, where culture, strategy, and influence intersect, take a second to like this video, not just to support the content, but to signal that you value deeper analysis over surface-level noise. Subscribe if you want to stay ahead of these quiet shifts before they become obvious headlines. And turn on notifications, so you don't miss the moments that matter before everyone else starts talking about them. And if you want more deep narratives like this, where culture, marketing, and power intersect, stay close. Because the next shift usually happens when no one's shouting about it yet.